Hello, I see people popping on. And I was given a big responsibility. I am the host of the meeting. So thank goodness I don't have to remember to turn it on, turn the recording on, because we are being recorded as we speak. So I was asked to just start at 1 o'clock, and it is 1 o'clock. Oh, it's 1:01 now. Fabulous, fabulous. I want to introduce myself just quick. I'm Dr. Karen Hollifield, and I'm about to go share my screen because I'm going to bring on my PowerPoint presentation. And here we are. Let me see if I can even get rid of all this other stuff. But I cannot because this thing is hidden underneath. Well, anyway, hello, everyone. If you haven't done this already, grab some oils, grab an oil and put some oils on that will help you do whatever you want to do. Relax, remember, feel fabulous, smell great, smell something great. My two go-tos this morning are Highest Potential, one of my favorites. I put it over my shoulders, kind of like a la what Mary Young does. And whenever I give a class, if you haven't tried it already, Clarity is my go-to when I give a class. It really just helps me keep everything in order. So while you're oiling up, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Karen Hollifield, or really just call me Karen. I've been a chiropractor for 38 years, and I married a chiropractor. We have two grown children, two grown girls, and come October, I'm about to be a grandma for the first time. I am a child of the 60s, mostly, and the 70s, where we learned never to trust anybody over 30. And maybe that's why I felt very comfortable looking into alternatives, because that's kind of what we did in the 60s. I've always been a gym rat. I've been a runner. I've been on a women's competitive rowing team. I have always been the exerciser, one of the exercisers in my group, as opposed to the dieters. Never been the dieter, always said, give me your cake, but I'm going to exercise. And maybe that's what drove me to become a chiropractor. I've been a yoga instructor for over 10 years. And, I discovered Young Living about 8 years ago from a colleague and very, very close girlfriend of mine, Dr. Pat McLean. And I just saw how this company, Young Living, just melded with everything that I did and everything that I learned in chiropractic school. So that's a little bit about me. I'm talking about Aging Gracefully, like I said, from a chiropractic perspective. So, which is my wheelhouse, my comfort. You're not going to hear much about emotions. All of these things definitely play into our bodies, but I'm going to look at it as like I usually do, as a chiropractor. So this is a picture of the nervous system. Memorize it. Okay, just kidding. You don't have to memorize it. It's pretty easy, but we all of us that went to every kind of medical school, we all used Gray's Anatomy. And in my version of Gray's Anatomy, page 8 said the nervous system controlled every other system of the body. So the nervous system is your brain, your spinal cord, and between every bone in your spine, nerves come out and they go to every single part of your body, down to every cell in your body. So, and they pretty much run geographically the way your body runs. If you want to know where do the nerves come from that innervate your eyes, right up here in your neck. The nerves that go to your throat, right down here. The nerves that go to your lungs are behind your lungs. Nerves that go to your stomach, behind your stomach, all the way down. Nerves that go to your reproductive organs, your bladder, your small intestine, and large intestine are all in your lower back, as well as those are the nerves that run down your legs and run down your arms. So it's more than just the bones. It's really that nervous system. So speaking of the bones, dem bones, I told you that nervous system, those nerves come out from between every bone in the spine. And I have a full-size skeleton in my office because we never really learned, well, not we, I went to chiropractic school, I took a lot of anatomy, but we never learned anatomy. And I will be working on someone kind of, let's say, right under their shoulder, right over here, right at the base of their neck. And they'll say, so what are you doing? And I say, well, I'm working on a rib. And they're like, ribs are up that high? Really? And if you look at that rib cage on Mr. Skeleton over here, and you'll see our rib cage goes all the way up here. So just take a look. I wanted you to see all of the joints in the body because there are lots and lots and lots. So that's one thing we work on. We chiropractors work on the nervous system because we are actually using the bones as levers to put everything back into alignment. The other thing that has to do with this whole skeletal system, this whole nervous system, skeletal system structure, obviously the muscles, the tendons, and the ligaments. Muscles move bones. That's how you can do this. These are your bones. If you look at this lovely gentleman, and you see the white stuff, he's got a lot of, these are tendons and ligaments. So ligaments connect bone to bone, and tendons connect, muscle to bone. Ligaments connect muscle to bone. Tendons connect muscles to ligaments. So we need all of these structures. These are all part of keeping our structure in alignment. So in the human body, though, our structure directly affects our function. Because remember, when we go back to that nervous system photo and what just happened yesterday in my office, I worked on someone a couple of times, haven't seen her in a couple of weeks. She's been away and she came back. She said, you know, my low back feels much better where I was working. My sciatica is gone. But you know what the best thing is? I didn't get period cramps this month because our structure in the body really determines our function. Something never to forget. So how do we get sick? And sick is a big general word. How do we age? We can call it aging because we all age differently. At different times, at different rates, really in different parts of our body, we age differently. 3 things make you sick. I learned this in chiropractic school, and it's true today. Gary Young talks about it. So 3 things make you sick: trauma, poison, and stress. Those 3 things. So trauma is a big bad trauma, like a car wreck, or it could be using the mouse all day, every day at your job, just sitting like that, using the mouse. And those are called micro traumas. They add up in our bodies. Bending down and bending and twisting to get the laundry out of your washer or out of your dryer. Doing that once isn't going to hurt, but that 100th, 200th, 1000th time that you've done it, you could do it and say, oh, my back. Those are called micro traumas. So trauma, poison, anything that's a poison to your body. Are you sensitive to gluten? How about liquor, cigarettes? Those are the obvious ones. Environmental toxins. Those are the obvious ones that we know about. But what is a poison to your body? Some people are allergic to eggs, dairy, whatever it is, that's the poison. And stress is stress, physical, mental, and emotional stress. So what happens then? Stress, trauma, poison, stress come into our body. Our muscles get tight. Our insides get tight. And you notice this next sentence, we are only as strong as the weakest link in our own personal chains. So if your weak link is your gut, you get under stress, and you know what's going to happen? You can get diarrhea, constipation, whatever is your problem. If your weak link is your neck, like mine is, it's going to be a headache. If your weak link is your low back, you can get sciatica. You can get period cramps. That's how the body works. That's why some people get ear infections. Some people get colitis. Some people, that's why we're all different, because each one of us has a different weakest link, depending upon our genetics, depending upon what we've done, what's happened to our bodies over our lives. And I just wrote that last thing, muscles move bones, to remind myself to say that, which I said in the muscular system. So muscles move bones. And in terms of the spine, in terms of our skeleton, with aging, when those muscles get tighter and tighter and tighter, they can actually pull the bones out of alignment. Because what'll happen, something happens, and you say, oh my God, I hate this driving. I hate doing this. I hate it. And what will happen, if those muscles stay tight long enough, they go into spasm, which is a sustained contraction, because we all know that muscles contract and they relax. To do these two movements with my arm, for instance, we need two different sets of muscles. So to bring my arm in, it's my bicep. To bring my arm out, it's my tricep. So muscles, what do? They contract and they relax. If they contract and stay contracted, they can actually yank those bones out of alignment. I just wanted to clarify some terms, because these terms always come up when I'm talking, and I'll just give you just quickie explanations. A sprain or a strain is when you overuse a joint or hurt that joint. You can sprain your ankle, you can sprain your neck, sprain your shoulder, sprain all kinds of things. And that's usually, when we use those words, it's typically there was an accident involved. There was a direct mechanism involved. Osteoarthritis, that's when people come to me and say, my arthritis is hurting. There's two different kinds of arthritis. You can see there's osteoarthritis versus rheumatoid. Osteoarthritis is not inherited. It happens when bones are out of alignment over time. And over time, we'll actually see changes to the bones on the X-ray. The words osteo and arthritis, osteo means bone, arthra is joint, and itis is inflammation. Whenever you see anything with an itis at the end of the word, that's inflammation. So really, that when you hear what I just told you that word means, it really doesn't mean much of anything. It means you walked into your doctor, you said, oh my gosh, my elbow is really hurting, it's swollen. You just have a little bit of osteoarthritis there. So your doctor just told you back in Latin what you told him or her in English. So to me, when I look at an X-ray and I see bony changes as a chiropractor, that just means time to me. When I see a spine and it's got a little bulge and it's got a bulging disc, that's time. That says, that's been there a while. When I start seeing those bony changes on an X-ray, that's time. You know what? This has been going on for a long time. Yeah, but it just started hurting. I hear from people. Pain is never a measurement for when you should get treatment. Our bodies are very, very forgiving for most people. By the time you feel pain, you've got a problem, and that should be dealt with. Rheumatoid arthritis, the other arthritis, is an autoimmune disease, completely different from osteoarthritis. Rheumatoid can be hereditary. So very different. They have different symptoms, both different. Most people, when they say they have arthritis, it's osteoarthritis. And then there's osteoporosis, which as people get older, their bones can thin. They can actually lose the calcium. So I just wanted to clarify those terms because they seem to get very confused. All right. What I have gleaned, I am almost 69 years old. So I have had thousands of patients that I have had the pleasure. I have been blessed to see and to watch my patients age. And what I have seen is the three most important physical needs to age gracefully are strength, flexibility, and balance. If you have those three things, you will age well. So let's just break those down a little bit. Let's start with strength. Why do you need to be strong? Is it just because You want to have muscles? You want to look good? We need strength because you're always going to want to be able to pick up your groceries. You're always going to be want to be able to take your groceries up out of the car, walk them into your house, put them down, unload them. You're always going to be able to, you're always going to want to push yourself up from a chair. You're always going to want to walk. You're always going to want to have strong legs to walk. I'm mentioning these things, I call them life skills. These are life skills that so often someone will get on my table and they can't get off the table because they have no strength in their arms. They can barely walk because something didn't feel so good. So they end up sitting around more and more and more, and they end up losing the strength in their legs. So you notice, look at the woman on the left, look at how tall and how straight she's standing up. And of course, her smile. Look at that picture on the right, and especially that woman, how she can barely stand up straight. And I'm going to talk about that in 2 slides. But look at the gentleman that's helping her. He is standing up straight. He's just watching her. Flexibility. So we talked about why strength is so important to have. Flexibility. I'm sorry, I had a little potty mouth on that picture on the left. I couldn't help it. So why do we have to be flexible? What's so important about being flexible? So what happens when our joints get too tight? When we stop stretching, everything gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And it's so easy to get an injury that way. So that's why it's really important to keep things moving. How often do I see in my office, people come in and all day they sit like this, their shoulders are like this. And then they come in, they say, you know what? I've got a numb arm. Because you know what they've never done? They've never done this. They've never done shoulder work. They've never done the work that it takes just to stretch everything out. So tight joints get injured. Why else do you want to be flexible? You always want to be able to pick up something from the floor. You always want to be able to move and pick something up. I was talking to my husband and telling him, I showed him the slide presentation and I was kind of talking it through, and he's sitting there and he says, you know why you want to be flexible? I said, why? He pulls out these big nail clippers. He pulls out these nail clippers and he says, because you always want to be able to clip your own toes. And my wonderful husband at 77 takes his leg, brings it all the way up and starts clipping his toenails. He said, I can't believe how many of my patients have to go to a podiatrist to get this done because they're not flexible enough to reach their toes or to have their knees bend. And the third is balance. I'm not going to say it's the most important. They're all equally as important. But what I see happening with people, their muscles get weaker. They sit more. And then when they stand up and they're nervous to pick their feet up off the ground because they don't feel sturdy. So what do? They look down. Now, this lady on the right is not looking down. She's looking over, but they look down. So instead of the body being up straight, so you have a nice, beautiful straight carriage and your head is underneath your hips and underneath your feet, people start doing this. They start bending down. They start kind of looking down, bending down, because they're looking at the ground now because they're not comfortable picking their feet up. And then when they don't pick their feet up and they just kind of shuffle, they end up tripping over something and then they fall and then they can break their hip and then they are in big, bad trouble. So balance, because you're always going to want to walk. You're always going to want to step over something. There's always going to be a rock that you have to step over. There's always going to be a curb if you're walking in the city that you have to step down from to cross the street. And it's so vitally important to be able to balance on one leg. and then on the other leg, so that if, God forbid, you have to lift that leg up, you're okay and you can do it. So strength, flexibility, and balance. That is the secret to aging gracefully from a chiropractic perspective, which is one of the many perspectives we need to have a healthy body. So I just came over here and, because we talked about nervous system, we talked about dem bones, the skeletal system, we talked about muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Here are the things that I recommend and that I use for aches and pains. I tell all my patients, we chiropractors are probably the only doctors that do things just as dumb as our patients do. I can tell you, my husband and I twist wrong, we bend wrong, we hurt ourselves, we overdo, we overuse, just like our patients do. So pretty much everything I'm telling you and I'm listing here, he and I both do and both use. Panaway, weren't we blessed to have that in our premium starter bundle? And now I love that new Make a Shift bundle has that deep relief roller ball, because out of these, my favorite is that deep relief roller ball. I keep one by my bed. I have them all over the place because I love me some deep relief. That wintergreen and peppermint are pain relievers, and they've got pain relieving properties, and they've got anti-inflammatory properties. Cool Azul, fabulous, same thing. And then, of course, CBD. You can layer all of those things. You can put some CBD, let's say you have a bad knee, on your knee, and add some Panaway. Even though there's Panaway in some of the, especially in the CBD balm, there is Panaway in it. I always like to add some more. And those oils on the right are really just typical oils that are known for their analgesic, their pain relieving, and their anti-inflammatory properties. We've got wintergreen, peppermint, copaiba. Frankincense is an amazing anti-inflammatory, so never forget about frankincense. And it's that oxygenator. It's got so many sesquiterpenes in it, which oxygenate the cells in our body. And what does the body need to heal? We need oxygen. Eucalyptus, I love to layer. If somebody just has a starter bundle, I'll tell them to layer Panaway and Raven together, because I feel like that eucalyptus drives things in. It's like that old commercial, deep heat that we loved so much. And then lavender is our favorite calmer downer. So if you feel like it's really, add lavender to your combo, to your mix. Here are some of my favorite supplements for bones, ligaments, muscles, nervous system. Do I take all of these? Yes, I do. BLM, guess what it stands for? Bones, ligaments, and muscles. Actually, I take all, I'm looking at this. Yep, I take all of these. I take all of these every day. Agiles, I love Agiles for connective tissue. I take 2 of those a day. Supercal. Supercal has calcium, which is so great for bones, and magnesium. And magnesium is a calmer. Magnesium calms down muscles. So especially at night, if your muscles get tight, grab yourself a Supercal, CalMag, just so you get that magnesium in you at night. Super D, we know how important vitamin D is for so many things. And originally we knew that it was great for strong bones. And minerals. Our bones are a mineral matrix. So we need minerals to keep our bones, ligaments, and muscles healthy. Super B is great for the nervous system. That's a nervous system support. Amino-wise has amino acids. It's got branched chain amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. And what does protein do? Protein is what our muscles need. Protein is what our bones need, what our bones, ligaments, and muscles need. And as we get older, we lose muscle mass, and especially women, we lose muscle mass pretty quickly. So I have amino-wise is one of the things that goes in my afternoon drink, along with sulfurzyme, which is hair, skin, and nails. and omega gies also, because there's your omega-3s. So wonderful for bones. So do I take a lot of Young Living supplements? Oh yeah. I don't have my supplement thing sitting right here, but let me tell you, it is packed with supplements. So I felt like I had to mention this, that it goes without saying, well, maybe not, depending. I think to this crowd, it goes without saying, you want to age gracefully, from any kind of viewpoint, a chiropractic viewpoint or not, drink water, get good sleep, eat good, organic, real food. Of course, get regular chiropractic care. I don't know what else realigns the bones. We can't do it ourselves. If we could, I would adjust myself, because I sure know how things need to be angled. And you know what? I can't adjust myself. And I get regular chiropractic care. Aren't I lucky to be married to a chiropractor? I don't even have to make an appointment. Massage therapy, so wonderful to relax those muscles, because we all develop chronic issues depending upon what we're doing or what our past was. So massage therapy is so wonderful and important. So let's go to the other column, regular exercise. And everyone always says, so what exercise should I do? Well, as someone who has done many, many different exercises over the course of my life, let me tell you, the exercise you should do is the one that you will do. I'm not going to tell you to go swim. When I tell my patients, swimming is really wonderful, I always ask them if they can swim first or if they're afraid of the water. Because if they are, swimming is not going to be, it's not going to be their jam, and they're just not going to do it. So what do you want to do? Here, after exercise, I listed, what do you have to do when I say that word exercise? We all need to do cardio. We all need to do some kind of cardio exercise, which is that to age gracefully? Oh yeah, because that's your heart, that's your lungs, that's every part of your body oxygenating all of your cells. We need to do strength training. Strength training could mean 1 pound weights. And my yoga teacher, my longtime yoga teacher, used to say, wherever you are, you're okay. It doesn't matter where you start. And in the same breath, he would say, keep working, keep working, keep working. Because what he was saying is, don't look around. In yoga, we always say, keep your eyes on, stay on your own mat. And that means don't look at what other people are doing. And you know what? Don't even think about what you did last week. Think about where you are today and what you're going to do today and what you need to do today. So strength training can be with either weights, little weights, big weights. It can be yoga. It can be, because if you are doing any kind of lifts in yoga, you're lifting your own body weight. And that is substantial. Next thing is balance training. Being the yoga teacher, I keep going back to yoga. We do so many balance postures. And when you take a flow class, a regular old flow class, you're going to have, there's so many different postures where you're standing on one leg. If you've never done anything for your balance, put your hand up against the wall and start there. And just start by lifting your leg, start by walking, putting your hand up against the wall and walk one leg. And don't go anywhere, just stay in place, but lift one leg up. Then the other leg, then the other leg, at whatever speed you can do it. And then start when you feel strong, when you feel like you're standing up straight, because that's really a big secret, is to stand up straight, and you feel like you can walk okay, well then wait a little bit between lifting your legs. So one at a time, slowly. If you've never done any balance training, don't get on a balance ball. It'll just really bum you out. Start where you're at and you are okay. And the last one is stretching. Everything sits in your body. I told you I'm not going to talk about emotions, but emotions sit in our body. And what we have to do is at the end of our day, or maybe at the beginning of the day, you can tell I'm not a beginning of the day exerciser. A lot of people are, not me. I'm an end of the day, after work exerciser. We just got to stretch it all out and make room in our joints. Most people are too tight. Some people are really flexible. People that are really flexible, if you've done ballet, and you know who you are, if you're very flexible, you've got to really lean on that strength training, because if your joints are too flexible, they will very easily come out of alignment. If your joints are too tight, same thing, easily come out of alignment. So where you are, and you know where you are, temper your exercises to what your body needs. Most of us need more strength, more stretching, because most of us are way too tight. So the human body is an amazing thing. When I started chiropractic school, they told us that every cell in the body is replaced every 7 years. Well, now we know every cell in the body is replaced, completely replaced. You get a whole new body every 3 years. Some cells are replaced faster than others. Your stomach cells, the inside of your stomach cells, we get new ones every 3 days until we get older, and then everything slows down. But to me, that's a very optimistic statement. It means that we can change things. It means that it's never too late to start taking care of yourself. It is never too late to start, what did I say? Put one hand against the wall and just lift one foot up, and then the other foot, and then the other foot. It's never too late to grab, even if you've never exercised with anything, grab your phone, because we all have them, and do that. Start with something light. Start with what you can handle, what you can use, and go from there, because it is never too late to start taking care of yourself. Well, that is my PowerPoint presentation. Does anyone, let me look in the chat, because I see chatsky things, and let's see if I have questions in here. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's going to be your grandma. Someone said true about something I said. Good. Yeah, Jessica, I think everybody needs to hear this. I think we all should have learned anatomy in the first grade. Kathy, I love that. Use it or lose it. And it's so true. Yes, Qigong is wonderful. I'm just, like I said, I taught yoga. I love Qigong. There are so many wonderful movements. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like anything that moves fast. So I teach yoga, but the way I have always taught yoga is you're going to get into that posture, and I don't call it a pose, it's a posture, and you're going to hold it. And you're going to hold it. And you're going to hold it. And you're going to hold it some more. And maybe you'll turn your hand. Maybe I'll have my people turn their hands one way or the other way. And then I'll have them shake it out. And you got your arms over your head. Well, shake your hands out. And move them and feel them. That's what I like. I think the way people hurt themselves is too many repetitive motion, too fast. It's so easy to fatigue a muscle and to fatigue a joint. And that's why I am not a fan, personal opinion, I'm not a fan of vinyasa classes, because they will have you do plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog really fast. And, I have a pretty strong upper body from being in a rowing team. And after doing, I don't know, 5 or 6 of those, you know what? I'm off. My balance is off. My weaker arm, and I'm left-handed, so my right arm is weaker. My right arm is tired. I find myself cockeyed. That's the best way to hurt yourself. So my druthers is something slow. That's why Qigong is wonderful. Well, thank you, Kathy. You're not older than me. No way. No way. Not very much. So does anyone have any questions, any comments? And yes, you can improve and age gracefully at 64. So anyone has any questions, open up your, unmute yourself. And I am happy to answer anything.
Karen?
Yeah, Jess.
Nathan's listening. He's got a question. Remember.
Okay, what is it, Nathan?
Hey, I just have your thoughts on just waking up early. It's so crazy. I'm 48. and I'm listening to you. You're so positive. We love you so much. You're so amazing. Thank you for everything that you do for our team and for everyone that you do every day as a chiropractor. I am totally loving, like, I have rediscovered mornings. Like, for me, I never, ever, ever, ever got up at like 5 a.m. And now I'm getting up at 5 a.m. I feel like I have 2 days in one. Um, I'm just curious about, just, general wellness. We're talking about general wellness, kind of just generally. That was redundant, but what are your thoughts on mornings and how it helps the energy of your day?
I guess I'll have to answer you honestly. I used to do a 6 to 9 a.m. yoga class every Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And that first hour for me, from 6 to 7, there was a lot of potty mouth happening in here. A lot. It was not pretty. If anyone would have heard the dialogue that I was saying to myself about my teacher, about the other people in the class, and at about a quarter to 7, I was happy. I think getting up early is fabulous. I have been fighting with that because it's not my habit. I go to bed by 10, but I wake up at 5. Some dog wakes me up at 5, but I stay in bed till 6, 6:15, 6:30. But that's my goal, Nathan. And, I'm so glad you're talking about it because you're inspiring me. And this is why I love us and us peeps so much, because we really inspire each other to be better. So I think waking up early is fabulous. And now you're going to really inspire me to do it.
You know what? It's funny because I've never had a full-time job outside of my own kind of effort, and I've never had to go anywhere in the mornings consistently because I always worked from home. Not that I didn't have things to do when I got up, but I just didn't have to go anywhere. And so I'm finding that, like, I get up, I go, and I feel like I've got 2 days in one. I feel more energy. I feel happier. I feel like that one thing for me is just, gosh, it's just, as I get older, it's just helping me click. I mean, I surfed a lot in the mornings when I was, younger, and that habit for me has been good. But just get up and go, for me is, I don't know, I'm rediscovering the joy of mornings and how it affects my entire day. And I'm just loving it. So, I don't know. I guess all of us at some point in our lives have to make some, changes here and there. We rediscover things. In kind of in line with what you're talking about, I saw this meme the other day online that said, "You're not getting old. You just need to stretch." And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like, we're all, all of us are, getting older, but we do need to stretch. We need to do things that motivate us, that keep us happy, that keep us alive, that make us feel alive.
When you said that, Karen, about how every cell in your body rejuvenates every 3 years, we both looked at each other. We're like, what?
What?
Because we didn't know that. I thought it was 7, because that's what we were taught years ago.
Yep. That's what they used to say. And now they say it's 3, which I think gives us so much hope. And like you were saying, Nathan, we have to change things as we get older. What we might have gotten away with in our 20s.
Yep.
Buck stops. How many times, when I first became a chiropractor, I was 32, and patients would come in and they would say to me, "Just wait till you turn 40. Everything falls apart." I would hear that over and over and over again. I would think to myself, not me. I eat good. I exercise. That's these people. They are lazy bums. I wouldn't say that to them, but that's what I'd be thinking. They just don't do it. I turned 40. It was okay. 40 was good. I turned 41. All of a sudden, I couldn't anymore. I couldn't, whatever it was, do a fast class because Oh, I'd have to go to my husband and say, honey, my back, I tweaked my back. So we have to keep changing and refining, and what worked then, maybe we need to try something different now.
Yeah, I think that.
I like Susan's comment here. She meditates every morning. I've been starting to meditate more. It's given me more peace of mind.
Game changer. You feel like it's 2 days in one.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Anyway, just love your energy and love
Thanks,
what you're
Nathan.
saying, and
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank
I'm
you.
driving, so I can't chat. So I just wanted to tell you guys thank you.
Thank you, Keating.
You're welcome. Thank you for everything. I miss you, Karen.
I miss you, Keating. I miss everybody. I think we need another convention like in another month or so. No, I'm getting a grandbaby in
Yes.
October, maybe Thanksgiving.
There you go.
Congratulations, Karen.
Yes,
Thank
congratulations.
you.
Thank you, Karen. Thanks so much.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Mwah.
Bye.
Love you, Karen. Take good care.